everybody. Executive functions refers to a family of mental processes that you need when going on automatic or relying on intuition or instinct would not be a good idea. There are three core executive functions. I'm going to start with inhibitory control. Inhibitory control involves resisting the strong inclination to do one thing and instead do what's most appropriate or needed. So one aspect of inhibitory control is self-control, resisting temptations, not acting impulsively, thinking before you act. So if you're a little kid, it involves things like waiting your turn, raising your hand, not taking another toy from another child, not peeing in your pants, etc. For all of us, it involves things like resisting hurting somebody else just because they hurt you, resisting getting in the cycle of tit for tat, and waiting. Not blurting out the first thing that comes to mind, waiting before you press send on an angry email message, waiting before you jump to a conclusion. It also involves discipline and perseverance, resisting the many temptations to quit or not complete what you started, and instead stay on task despite being bored or frustrated or a lot more fun things to do. Evidence shows that discipline accounts for over twice as much variation in final grades as does IQ, even in college. And the third type of inhibitory control is attentional control, being able to concentrate, pay attention, stay focused, even though there are distractions and even though the material might be boring. Children with better inhibitory control, that is children who as little kids were more persistent, had better attention regulation, and were less impulsive, 30 years later as adults, have higher incomes and better jobs, better health, fewer run-ins with the law, and a better quality of life than their peers who, as little kids, had worse inhibitory control. And that's true controlling for almost every variable under the sun. It's based on a study of 1,000 children born in the same city in the same year, followed for 32 years with a 96% retention rate. I wish I did the study. We tend to underestimate how capable young children are. So I'm going to show you a video in a second of a 3-year-old with truly outstanding perseverance and attentional control, even though there's lots of distraction in the environment. So if you could show the video, please. It doesn't have any sound. There are many ways we can help children succeed despite weak inhibitory control. Kindergarten and first grade teachers love to decorate their walls with beautiful pictures and posters. But young children have very immature attentional control. They can easily get distracted by those beautiful pictures and posters. In fact, a recent study has shown that first graders are able to pay better attention and learn more if the walls are relatively bare, even though each wall can be painted a beautiful color. The second core executive function is working memory. Working memory involves holding information in mind and working with it. Working memory is critical for reasoning because that requires holding ideas and information in mind and seeing how they relate. It's critical for the creativity to see connections between seemingly unconnected ideas or facts, and then disassembling those combinations and recombining them in new ways. It's critical for anything that unfolds over time, because that always involves holding in mind what happened earlier and relate that to what's happening now. So that's obvious for oral language, right? Because you don't hear those words anymore. You have to hold them in mind and relate them to what you're hearing now. But it's critical for all kinds of things, like understanding cause and effect. Let's say you do something and you get a reaction. If you don't remember what you did, you don't know why you're getting that reaction. Why are you acting that way? Working memory and inhibitory control each independently predict reading and math competence from the earliest years through university, sometimes better than even IQ. We need to challenge children's working memory so that it improves, for example, with storytelling. Executive functions need to be continually challenged for them to improve, not just used, but challenged. And I'm a huge fan of storytelling. Storytelling requires and invites a child's rapt attention for extended periods, focused, sustained attention, and also working memory to hold in mind all the details they've been hearing, what they know about the characters, what they know about the story, and relate that to what's happening now, all without the aid of visual aids like pictures on the page or puppets or video. So while story reading is wonderful, I predict that storytelling should improve attention and working memory more because it taxes them more. An example of how to help children with poor working memory or fragile working memory can be seen in the next slide. So these are two four-year-olds, and everybody in the class has been told to get a picture book, get in a pair with another child, and take turns telling the story that goes with the pictures in your book. Well, everybody's all excited to tell their story, and nobody wants to be the listener. So what the teacher does is give one child in each pair an ear. And she explains that ears don't talk, ears listen. And with that concrete reminder, the child's able to listen. Without it, she wouldn't be able to. And after a few months, she doesn't need it anymore because she's internalized it. The third core executive function is cognitive flexibility. That includes the creativity in seeing familiar things in new ways from different perspectives. If one way of solving a problem isn't working, can we conceive of the problem in a totally new way? Can we think outside the box so that we can come up with a completely different way of attacking the problem that nobody has thought of before? And flexibility to take advantage of serendipity, to get around unforeseen problems, even to admit we were wrong when we get more information. Infants are far smaller